Divorce with children in mutual agreement. Hi, my name is Yamil, and this may be a long video because there's quite a few things that I need to explain before we go into the nitty-gritty of the divorce process. All right, when we're talking about a divorce in mutual agreement, we're talking about preparing a divorce for two parties that are ready to go through this process and provide financial information. And with the understanding that child support will be calculated, and it's not optional. This is not. This is something that it's required by the law, and so this is usually a very sticky point, which is why I'm starting the conversation in this video with this topic of the child support. Child support is going to be calculated, and we calculate it based on the same calculations that the court will have. It's the same. It's all the same numbers, the same forms. If you are wondering how much child support would be, or you would need to know your income, of course, and your excess income, and who pays for the after school program or daycare, and the medical insurance and out-of-pocket medical insurance expenses, which is rare. Those are usually when children have like some medical conditions that require medications and follow-ups every month. But in general, is the who pays for the medical insurance will get a credit for that based on the percentage of income that they both have, that's available for the child, as well as the after school or daycare expense. If it's split, then it's split. If one person is paying it, then that person gets the benefit of making that payment. If you have wondering how much it would be, or your ex kind of wants to know, or you kind of want to have that number before you have the conversation with your spouse or through the process, you can always Google it. There are websites out there with the calculator, child support calculators. They're not 100%, but that's the best thing that is out there, is available. I believe a couple of attorneys actually have that. By the way, I'm not an attorney. I don't provide legal advice. Any information in this video is just about the process and the procedures and the information that needs to be provided in order to get this divorce done. Our fee is $620, which can be paid in two payments. $310 the deposit, and then $310 once the documents are signed and notarized and ready to be filed. So how it starts, it will be with an intake. On the intake, we will need to have the date of marriage, place of marriage, your names, address, phone number, email, date of birth, and the social security number. For the children, we'll need to know their names, address, date of birth, social security number, and the addresses and timelines during the last 5 years where the children lived. Why is this a requirement? There is a form in the packet for a divorce with children that requires that we provide to the judge the last 5 years where the children lived, and that's mostly to establish that the judge has jurisdiction with the children. If the children live outside of the country, we won't be able to do a no court hearing divorce process, and that's really our specialty, because the jurisdiction would have to be established. That is in the state of Florida. All right, so once we get that information, we'll also need your financial information, very important. Your financial information, your spouse's financial information, such as where they work, their profession, income, deductions, household expenses, and any assets or like bills along, with assets. For example, if there's credit card balances, so credit card balance and the monthly payment, If it's a car, we will need the car value. We'll need the car balance if it's loaned by a loan, if there's a loan, and the monthly payment, the balance, and the estimated market value. If you have a house, the same thing. We'll need how much is paid a month, what is the balance of the mortgage, and also what is the market value of the house. If you guys have any joint assets or liabilities, meaning credit cards or loans, you will need to decide jointly how those things are going to be split. Are you going to pay 50-50 or the credit cards? Are you going to you stay with one, he stays with one, and vice versa? You guys need to have a game plan and write it down on the intake form so that information is ready. It's ready to go. And we can add it to the marital settlement agreement as also the financial statements. Finally, we will need to prepare a parenting plan. And in the state of Florida, this whole thing of custody it's not a thing. It hasn't been a thing for many, many years. It's really, you're both parents, you're both responsible, and you both have the same equal rights to the children, to spend time with the children. So I suggest you really discuss this carefully with your spouse, and figure out the amount of overnights the children are going to be in each household. And are there going to be any limitations with any differences with vacation time? So is it going to be alternating every week, or alternating every 2 weeks, or 1 month and one month each of you, or not, or just stay every other weekend, or whatever it is? It needs to be written down to the point that the judge will understand where the children are at all times. That's the goal. The goal is that the judge has no question as to where the children are going to be. Are they going to be in mommy's house this weekend or the next weekend? Or, there's got to be. Even if you and your ex agree to do it whenever you guys want, or maybe the children are older and they can call dad and say, hey, dad, come pick me up, I'm bored, or whatever. Even if you guys are at that stage, it needs to be something, a regular timeline that the judge can follow. Even if you guys throw that out and don't care to follow it. But the important thing is that if you want the divorce to go without a lot of back and forth, make sure that what we have for the parenting plan, it's solid, it's clear, and it shows who the children are with every day of the year, basically. Okay? That, and also if there's any limitations for international travel, let me know. Once we draft the paperwork, from the deposit, we usually draft it within 3 business days, 72 hours. I need you to review it carefully. In the parenting plan, because in the intake, we don't put everything available on the parenting plan, but I invite you guys to look at the parenting plan and add anything that, we didn't ask for, because the document is like 14 pages long. So you need to go through it and see, oh, okay, wait a minute. So this I'm going to put the other person has 15 minutes, 30 minutes of if the person cancels within 30 minutes or after 30 minutes, I have a choice to do whatever I want to do with the kids. Add if they travel outside of the country, whichever parent, that there is going to be, there needs to be 14 days in advance, and, the whole itinerary and then contact numbers, emergency numbers need to be provided in writing within, the last, at least 2 weeks in advance, and that sort of thing. So go through the packet, and you're going to go through the parenting plan. Let us know if there's anything else you want us to add. We kind of been doing this for a long time, more than 10 years. So we kind of know the usual suspects, and we'll put them in there if you didn't put anything before. But do look at it and see if there's anything else that you feel that would help. Also, tax, how you guys going to handle the IRS tax deduction, the tax credit for the children. You can split it. You can do 1 year, one person. You can do, I take this child and he takes the other child. This is totally your divorce and you guys are in control of the outcome. All we're going to do is take the information that you provide in an intake and we'll convert it into 80 pages of documents, of papers that, you guys will need to review, sign in front of a notary, and then send back to us. We'll file it in court, and then you guys will receive the final judgment within approximately 45 days. You're going to get the final judgment along with a copy of the marital settlement agreement that you would have signed and the parenting plan that you would have signed. On the marital settlement agreement, the child support amounts will be there, calculated, and, the court doesn't send it to Tallahassee. So it's not, it's there, it's on the paperwork, and it can always be turned into the state attorney's office for compliance, but the court doesn't do that. You can do that in your local child support office if that's what you want to do, or, whoever wants to do that or not. That's completely optional to do. But child support has to be calculated, has to be in the paperwork. And, there is something about overnights if if both parents spend very equal time with the children and both parents' earnings are very equal, there's a possibility that child support may be very low or zero. But again, it's all about following what's being done, not doing the parenting plan hoping to get it to zero, because we'll be going back and forth for months, and the numbers are what the numbers are, and it would need to follow what actually is supposed to happen. All right, so I hope this helps. Again, I'm not an attorney, but I've been doing this for the last 10 years, and I've helped many people get divorced without going to court, even a divorce with children. If you have any questions, my number is 800-474-1970, 800-474-1970, and I hope to have the pleasure of working with you through this time. Take care.